Hi there, thanks for joining me for my 36th episode of Mr. Ed Draws. I've chosen to narrate this episode for one main reason. I hurt my wrist, and I have a lot of pain in my hand doing anything, and I keep hurting it, and it's not getting better, it's actually getting worse. So I did a really brief sketch of a pine branch and some pine cones just to have something to put up there to let you know that I'm still alive. I haven't forgotten about you. I am still working hard. I had planned for this episode to do a sculpture, but to do that I have to rearrange my studio and my lighting so that y'all can see what's going on, because right now it's just top down. It's very limited field of view, and if I tried to change the camera angle, you would just have lights in your eyes everywhere. So I have to redo my studio in order to film the sculpting video that I have planned for you, but I wasn't able to do that because I hurt my hand. So instead I have endured the pain. You can see it's actually where my thumb presses against my fingers. That's really painful. So I don't have a strong grip, and as I want to hold onto the pen really hard, and every time I squeeze it, it hurts. And then when I try to lift anything or pull on my fingers, that hurts as well. So it's pretty much everything you do with your hands I can't do right now, just very lightly. I can pick up things that don't weigh a lot, but if I try to grab them too forcefully, I have a shooting pain in my wrist that goes all the way up my arm. So hopefully that will will fix itself if I stop injuring myself. So I'm trying to take it easy this week, so I'm only going to do short sketches, but I thought I'd do some narration, do a little bit of a vlog, and let you know what's going on, why this video may not be as extravagant or as elaborate as my drawings have been building up to so far this season. So for this picture, I chose a pine branch, and I've really been studying them. They're all over the place out here in the Cascades, so I have an opportunity to study just about every variety of pine tree you can imagine. And I couldn't tell you what kind this is. It probably doesn't exist in reality. It may just be an amalgam of different types of pine trees, maybe the characteristics that I appreciate the most about them. And one of the things that I really like about pine trees is that they're an old species. They've been on Earth for a really long time compared to other trees. So they have this kind of fern quality to them, where they branch in fractals, where you can take the smaller branches and they look like the bigger branches, and so on and so forth. This happens a lot in some of the pine species, so I went with that idea. I kind of, made the branches go down more, and then when the needles come out, some of the pine trees here have really, really long needles, and I know that a lot of people will collect them and make baskets and what have you out of them. So, and this is one of those trees that has the really long needles. They're really hefty. They come in like groups of 6 or 7 needles, and there might be 5 or 6 needles groups clumped together on the end of one branch. And as those needles do their job, that little sprout will grow a little bit, and eventually it turns into a branch. And this is how the pine tree grows. So I wanted to kind of capture that fractal geometry. And as well, pine cones themselves have a lot of fractal geometry. They're actually a spiral like a sunflower, and this appears in nature a lot. So just the science and math part of drawing is really interesting to me, and it's one of the things that I like to stress when I'm drawing, is that there is a lot of science, there is a lot of math that goes into understanding what we're trying to what do we have now? Alright, where was I don't know. I'll probably cut this part out of the video, but the pine cones and fractal geometry, and it has the same geometry as like a nautilus shell or a sunflower. Just this repeating pattern that grows in scale. And it's not that biology is really smart, it's just that those geometries work well in nature. They happen to be the most efficient, so they show up a lot. And that's why pine trees are so strong and can endure a lot of snow. They can endure a lot of wind because they're efficiently shaped and the weight is efficiently distributed, and the needles are efficiently distributed to get the most light that's projected around it. They're just engineered to be the best. I don't think we could do that if we tried. Nature's just done it over millions and millions of years. I didn't necessarily want to capture that in this picture, but I do really appreciate just the grand qualities of pine trees, and that's why they are often a subject in my pictures. They're also really easy to draw because they are made of fractals, so you can just apply a method of steps and just repeat those steps at different scales, and you have a pine tree. So it's very methodical. You don't have to have a lot of artistic or creative skill to draw a pine tree. That's why I like them. They're easy. I can draw hundreds of them in a sketch, and then add the more complex things to make it look really developed and really nice. But by and large, pine trees are pretty easy to draw. This branch was really easy to draw. That's why I chose it with my messed up hand and wrist. And I hope you appreciate it, even though it's not an elaborate picture. It is a really cool kind of drawing of a tree branch, of a pine branch. And with the holidays coming up, I thought that maybe I would continue this pine theme, maybe do some winter scenes, and kind of carry it into the Christmas season so that I can kind of build this feeling for the holidays ahead. That's what's going on with me. I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it may not be what you expected. And if it goes well, I may do more like these in the future. If it goes bad, I will have to do more like these in the future. So wish me luck, and hang in there with me, and I'll catch you later in my next episodes. Thanks again. Bye-bye. Ah, that hurts.